Welcome to Spokane Talks, where you'll find the latest in community news, views, and conversation. Now, join your host to hear what Spokane's talking about.
Welcome to Spokane Talks on Fox 28. Clyde Haase talks with the folks from Greater American Construction Company on his House to Home program. Then we're going to follow up with the chance I had at the end of last year to sit down with Ozzie Knezovich, our sheriff, to talk about things that happened in 2019. And then on the Pulse program, Anytime Fitness will be highlighted. Watch next.
This is River Ridge Frame Shop, called Frame It Today, where we can take your art, customize it, and get it ready to hang on the wall. Here at River Ridge Hardware, 2803 West Garland.
We believe every person is created in the image of God with immeasurable beauty and worth, that people should not be defined by their present condition or past mistakes. We are all broken. We need each other. Healing for our brokenness begins with connection, with understanding how much we are loved by a good God. And with healing comes change, the potential for joy and meaning. No one was created for mere survival on the streets, for an existence blurred by mind-numbing substances. Each person is created with a purpose, a unique gift no one else can offer the world. Our job is to help them rediscover it. Real people, real change. Union Gospel Mission.
Welcome to another edition of House to Home. I'm Clyde Haase, and joining me today is Justin and Curtis from Great American Construction. They have many stories to share with us, but it's this time of the year that we are beginning to see some of the frailties, the weak spot within our home. Mm-hmm. I had one last week. I had a dripping by my window coming down. Oh, roof. Mm-hmm. Share with us on, because I know you folks do mostly exterior.
Yeah, this is the time of year where you're starting to see ice, you're starting to see water, and that's something you really have to key on, because this is the time of year where you're really going to start struggling with, that ice expanding and causing even more problems. So definitely watch the ice dams, watch where the ice is building up. When it comes to windows, again, watch the moisture. Anything in between the panes, you're going to start seeing it more this time of year. But yeah, you just have to make sure that you're on top of it, because stuff that's happening now come springtime is going to be a huge problem. And so if you don't catch it early, that's where it could really cause a lot of interior problems as well.
Well, I have a question for you then. Does heat tape along some of these areas that maybe you had some ice build up now, would that be all right to put it up now?
Yeah, I think it's fine. I do always worry when people do it themselves. Sometimes it's good to get an electrician in to do it, to make sure that you're not causing more problems than you're solving. If it's an older roof, that might be your only scenario to solve your problem. If you got a newer roof, usually the new codes that we have with the ice and water guard are taking care of those situations without the ice tape, and so it just depends on your roof. That's where calling somebody in to take a look at it's not a bad idea.
What Curtis is saying is understand your home, understand how it's taking place, understand what it could be, what it couldn't be. He has good information, and sometimes we need to be asking what I call sometimes dumb questions. Mm-hmm. But they're not dumb, are they?
No, because
they're going to come back and exactly, you never really know what's going to happen at that particular point. And those are the things that adding heat tape around some windows or an area that maybe was iced up that was going to be causing that particular problem, then we can begin to identify it and correct it even right now at this time of the year. I would like when we come back from the break, I want to take a look at some of the ideas that we're looking at of what we can be dealing with, because you made a key point. Deal with the right people, some contractors. And we're going to be talking about contractors and how you look and see questions that you ask and things that you will demand, because I know what I want. Do you know what I want? Yep. Mm-hmm. So with that in mind, we're going to take a quick break, come right back to you.
This is River Ridge Frame Shop, called Frame It Today, where we can take your art, customize it, and get it ready to hang on the wall. here at River Ridge Hardware, 2803 West Garland.
We believe every person is created in the image of God with immeasurable beauty and worth, that people should not be defined by their present condition or past mistakes. We are all broken. We need each other. Healing for our brokenness begins with connection, with understanding how much we are loved by a good God. And with healing comes change, the potential for joy and meaning. No one was created for mere survival on the streets, for an existence blurred by mind-numbing substances. Each person is created with a purpose, a unique gift no one else can offer the world. Our job is to help them rediscover it. Real people, real change. Union Gospel Mission.
Welcome back, Clyde Haase, Justin and Curtis, all Great American. Question, I forgot this one before. Give us your website so they can go find out information about you.
Yes, greateramericanconst.com or Facebook, just Greater American Construction. You'll find us. That's the link to our website, phone number, pictures, testimonials, everything you could need to know about us is on both of those.
Okay, with that in mind, in the first portion we were talking about getting the right contractor.
Yes.
Curtis, you had some thoughts on that, and Justin, follow it up if you would.
So yeah, that's the key is when you're looking at a contract, you got to check licensing, bonded, all of that information, but also reviews. And then when you actually have someone come to your home, you can get a vibe usually from people if they actually care, if they actually want to be there. Some people are wanting to be in and out, give you a quote, see you later. But ask questions and go in depth with these contractors, because their job is to make you feel comfortable and to make you understand what's going on with your house. And is it fixable? Is it preventable? What can we do to make sure that you don't have a problem moving forward? And what are the best steps to get there? So don't, like you said earlier, there are no stupid questions. And believe me, what you think might be stupid might end up being the actual problem or the actual solution.
Okay, I'm going to begin first. What if they don't return the phone call?
Then that's a big red flag. Yeah, because
or on time.
Exactly.
I think definitely start looking for somebody else. That's a good indication you're dealing with not a great company if they do not respond properly.
What he's really saying is that an organized company and an organized situation, you will have people that know what they're doing, and they will cherish their time as they cherish your time, because you've made contact to them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of an old-fashioned, what they call customer service. Is that?
Yep. I think a lot of companies forget that it's the customer's house, it's customer's money, it's customer's time. You're there, to answer questions, to help them, but it's still, you're being brought in to help them, and not the other way. That some contractors think that's their house, it's their time, it's and it's not. It's the customer, and customers need to be put, up front and treated properly, when you're doing a job. And a lot of
I think one of the things that we're talking about, folks, is that I'm assuming one thing. Curtis and Justin, I hope they're reading what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
I like them, and I think they're great people, but do they really know? So if I am in question that I don't know if they do know or not know, I want it in writing, and I think that is the most important thing. That's what you're kind of saying, right?
Well, I think a lot of, there's a lot of good salesmen out there. There's a lot of people that talk a very good game, but then they don't deliver when the job is going, and I think keeping things written down, communicating, between the customer and the contractor, but, because a lot of people are great talking, they could put a lot of things out there, but then when the time comes, it's not as good as they said.
Curtis, you brought it to the head, and you brought it to the point I wanted to say. Folks, ask questions, know where you're going. There's no stupid questions. Until next time, I'm Clyde Haase, Great American Contractors. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is River Ridge Frame Shop, called Frame It Today, where we can take your art, customize it, and get it ready to hang on the wall. Here at River Ridge Hardware, 2803 West Garland.
We believe every person is created in the image of God, with immeasurable beauty and worth, that people should not be defined by their present condition or past mistakes. We are all broken. We need each other. Healing for our brokenness begins with connection, with understanding how much we are loved by a good God. And with healing comes change, the potential for joy and meaning. No one was created for mere survival on the streets, for an existence blurred by mind-numbing substances. Each person is created with a purpose, a unique gift no one else can offer the world. Our job is to help them rediscover it. Real people, real change. Union Gospel Mission.
Next up is the Sheriff's Report, where I sit down with Ozzie at the end of last year to talk about a lot of things going on in Spokane and the Inland Northwest in 2019. Ken Adams here. I'm on the set with Ozzie Knezovich, and I'm looking back at 2019 as we begin 2020. Can you believe we're talking 2020? I know. Wasn't that a nighttime program on Friday nights or something? But anyway. Hey, one of the big issues this last year, and it will continue to be an issue because it's not going to be solved overnight, is the homeless issue. It was clearly the issue in a couple races in the city of Spokane, but it's more than the city. It's the county and our area, and it's not just us. It's the Pacific Northwest and the Pacific Coast, if you will. How do we help address this problem?
Kent, we need to change the way we deal with this issue and go back to a philosophy of accountability and giving a person a hand up rather than a hand out.
Yeah.
You never change a person's life by simply giving a hand out. You have to give them the opportunity to improve their life.
Right.
You'll never, people, especially those on the left, always use the word compassion.
Right.
There is nothing compassionate about allowing somebody to continue to shoot poison into their veins. There's
Not at
nothing
all.
compassionate about that. It's at best assisted suicide, at worst you're contributing to a homicide. You don't change people's life by allowing them to continue to be self-destructive. You have to help them rebuild their lives.
You talk about compassion. Phil Altmeyer, who's been here from the Union Gospel Mission a couple of times, talking about if you truly love these people and care about these people, it's exactly what you're talking about. It's not just giving them a meal and a warm place to sleep at night. As important as that is, okay, we don't want them to freeze to death out there and so forth, but that does not solve the long-term problem. And so the programs that are there, and with some other organizations in town that have a little higher barrier, if you will. I've learned a lot of new terms this last political
No barrier,
season. Right.
low barrier.
But requiring that accountability, and I think I mentioned the other day to you that I've seen a couple of men come in who have been through the UGM program, and I'm just astounded at their outlook on life and where they're going and what they intend to do and everything else, and it's very positive. And they've turned their life around, and basically they were admitting, Kent, I'd be dead if I had not done this program. And so it's exactly what you were talking about. Let's take a break, and when we come back, let's talk about some of the shootings that have been going on with our police officers and first responders over this last year as well. We'll be right back. I'm back with Ozzie, our sheriff, and number one, before I forget, please thank all of your officers for standing up and protecting all of us and serving in this community. You've got a great bunch of men and women who put their lives on the line every single day. There have been shootings, to take that to the other side. There have been shootings of officers across the country, and I mean, deadly shootings. Where are we? What happened last year in terms of looking at previous years? Are we up, down, different kinds of shootings?
Right now, we're slightly down from 2018.
Okay.
Ambush shootings still comprise one of the more lethal aspects
Really?
of our
Now,
job.
what do you mean by ambush shootings?
That is where somebody intentionally intended to shoot a police officer. They went out with the intent to kill that police officer. And you go back to 2016, and that year was the highest year of ambush-type shootings since 1973. Same dynamics, so it was 1973. We had great racial tensions going on in the United States, and you had people shooting police officers. And it was a failure from the highest level of this nation, both in the political realm and in our own profession's leadership, that no one stepped up and said, folks, this isn't the way we deal with things like this in America. We don't do this. And I believe that it's time that that we start paying a hard attention to the rhetoric that some of our politicians are using.
Yes.
When you have a mayor from Ohio that's running for president, and quite frankly, pretty much the entire group there are saying that law enforcement is inherently racist.
Yes.
That is inflammatory.
You're
and
gending
it's
up
false.
the rhetoric. And
It is
and
false.
Yes, I know.
And just like every other parts of life, do we have people that have those tendencies? Yes, but they don't survive long in this profession.
Well, and especially as a deputy with you, because you don't put up with that at all.
No.
You've fired an awful lot over the years and really cleaned the ranks, if you will, and so forth. And I appreciate that. And I know our community does. And they come out for you at election time to acknowledge that several times. So, Ozzie, thank you,
Thank
and
you.
your team for all that you do. And we'll be right back after this.
Thank you.
Next is Anytime Fitness on my Pulse program. We're going to talk about what their new business is. And then from our Pulse program as well, the Union Gospel Mission. Next. I'm pleased to have Sabrina D'Angelo. I want to say that correctly, so I'm going to look down at it. With Anytime Fitness. And I love your story because you grew up here in Spokane, didn't you?
I did.
And then they kicked you out at what age? I mean, you left at what age?
Yeah, I was 12.
12?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was sad, and I didn't want to go.
Because especially at that age, you're starting to really make good friends and
Oh,
everything
yeah.
else too,
It was
right?
all I ever knew.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have girlfriends from those days that you see now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. So it's
Yeah.
kind of coming home.
There's still people that live in my old neighborhood.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's fun. Okay, so you're off making a name for yourself in the world and everything else, and one of the last spots was Seattle, Washington.
Mm-hmm.
You and your husband were working, and you were working with chiropractor over
Yeah,
there and so
yeah.
forth, and your husband was doing some work with Amazon
Yes.
and so forth, and you had always hoped to come back to Spokane, Washington,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Bugged him every other year or so.
Every other year. You kept it to every other year?
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna have to talk to my wife. She bugs me every year about something, so maybe I can get her
Just
to.
keep it in the back of the mind.
Yeah,
Keep it going
yeah.
until it happens.
So what happens that all of a sudden you're coming back to Spokane?
Well, our son was through college and
Okay.
had moved on. We're living in a big, huge 4-bedroom house, just the two of us. And
Yes.
my husband ends up in about 2 hours of traffic one day. Gets the
Let me guess, he
mail.
didn't like that.
He didn't love that.
No.
No. He gets the mail.
Uh-oh.
Opens up the new year of taxes. We go up to $7,500 for just a little neighborhood house.
Yeah.
We're not talking about acreage here.
Right.
And he just broke and said, "Let's do this."
And-
Called up a friend who's a real estate agent. Put our house on the market. It sold at the realtor's open in 3 hours, and the next week I got on a plane
Right.
on my way here.
And the nice thing was that he did work for Amazon, I think
Yeah,
it was,
yeah, he worked
remotely.
remotely,
So it didn't matter where he lived, really. So
Correct.
to come made some
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
The commute didn't make sense over there,
Right.
but made sense here.
Right.
Okay, so you're getting on a plane and coming over and looking for a house
Yep.
and all that. Did you find something right away?
Yeah, I bought. My husband never saw the house. I bought the house in one day. We saw
Okay.
about 6 or 7 houses,
Yeah.
and I made an offer that day before I flew home that night.
Yeah.
And we bought a house.
Wow. Okay, so he's working remotely over here, and what are you doing? Fixing the house.
fixing up the house
Right.
and putting my feelers out because I was going to go back to work in
Okay.
chiropractic.
Right.
And I did so, but it only lasted a few months because our life made a little change.
Yes, and we're going to talk about that change when we come back right after this. Okay, so you're back here. You're trying to figure out, you might go back to work with a chiropractor and everything else. Your husband's got a job with Amazon, remote and everything else, and then what happened?
Well, my husband's remote job became a in-the-office job
Okay.
or take a layoff
That's
package.
a long drive to
It is
Seattle
a
and back
long
every day,
drive.
right?
It is a long
Yeah,
drive.
yeah.
So, and we just didn't want to go back to that hectic lifestyle. We were having a great time
Yeah.
here, planting gardens in the spring, all of that.
Oh, fun.
And so he took the layoff package and then
Okay.
just started exploring what he would do. And he came to me with the idea
I
of,
love this.
maybe let's do a franchise. And he had a few ideas. No. And one he brought to me was Anytime Fitness. And at first I said, absolutely not.
Right.
Fitness, no.
Heard too many things about
What do we know
fitness
about
or,
that,
or franchises, right?
Yeah, and but then there were some compelling things about Anytime Fitness that kind of struck our hearts.
What
And,
was that?
Well, they have a manifesto, and it's about that you don't have to be fit to be there. And I looked at their advertising, and I saw normal people. I didn't see the big
Okay.
buff bodies
Yeah.
that I usually see in gyms.
Right.
Having lost a lot of weight myself, I found them to be less intimidating.
Okay.
And then we started to explore a little bit more, and we thought, how do we bring a truly welcoming environment
Right.
that isn't intimidating, that helps people with their goals? And we set off to do that.
Okay.
And here we are.
So when did you open? How long ago?
We opened on November 8th, so a little over a month, about a month ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you having fun?
So much fun.
Why?
Because of the people that are walking in the doors.
Okay.
And, just helping to find their why and what drives them, and
Right.
Help them to live
And
better lives.
that's important to you, isn't it?
It is.
Because you and I have had a couple conversations that really is important to
Yeah,
you.
it is.
Now, is your husband involved in the business?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's also a personal trainer.
Okay.
And he does more like the group class type stuff
Okay.
and
Okay.
the business stuff, and
Right.
I keep things
And
shiny.
you just go on
clean,
TV.
and- yeah.
Yeah. What the heck?
yeah.
Okay. Tell me more about where you are and how people can find out more about you. what you're
So
doing.
we're on the corner of East Sprague and McDonald in front
Okay.
of the Oaks building.
Okay.
You can follow us on Facebook. You
Okay.
can find us at anytimefitness.com. You can call us, or you can stop in for a tour.
All right. I think that's wonderful, and go look these folks up because they've got an absolutely beautiful facility too.
Thank you.
And it's only been open a few weeks, and
Yeah.
Nice.
Let's make healthy happen.
absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. Can I ask you about your experience? How did you get to UGM?
So when I was 16, I dropped out of high school.
Okay.
I got addicted to meth,
Oh,
and as soon as I turned 18, I got 3 felonies and on the run, running around through the streets, couch surfing, still in my addiction, and it just went all downhill from there.
Yeah.
From being on the run and then getting caught by my probation officer and getting sent back to jail.
that'll do it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
When I was in jail, my mom, who was at the women's crisis shelter getting her life together,
Okay.
she had called me when I was in jail and said that, hey, there's a program at the mission. It's 16 months long. It's called the Life Recovery Program. You should try it and see
Wow.
what good it does for you. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'm all in for it. So as soon as I got out of jail, I came straight to the mission.
Did you know you needed help?
Oh yeah.
I mean, you could admit that?
Yes.
Did you want help?
Yes.
Okay, why?
Because where I was headed, I was either headed for prison or
Possibly death.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. That's frightening as you look back right now.
Oh yeah.
Now, how long have you been there?
I've been there since last September, so
You're
Over
coming
a
up on
year.
the 16 months, aren't you? Yeah.
This is River Ridge Frame Shop, called Frame It Today, where we can take your art, customize it, and get it ready to hang on the wall. here at River Ridge Hardware, 2803 West Garland.
Hey, thanks for watching Spokane Talks on Fox 28. Have a good week, everybody.
Spokane Talks is about you. Give us your feedback and comments at info@SpokaneTalksMedia.com. Spokane Talks is everywhere you are. Find us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and SpokaneTalksMedia.com. Spokane Talks is brought to you in part by Rada Paint and River Ridge Hardware. We'll be back next week with the latest news, views, and conversation. Please join us.